Okay, so we've spent a considerable amount of the last 2 weeks speaking of what highly irregular verb?
To be.
To be. Specifically, which one? Which one's the one that's really irregular?
Oh, that's a long term, so it's SER.
And how do we say that?
Sir?
Sam.
Sir.
Okay? And it's irregular because after I've defined it, if I were to drop my ending, what's the only thing I'm left with?
S.
S. That doesn't give me a lot to work with. Okay? So it was something that we treated differently. Alright, we said it was
Soy.
soy.
ERES.
Eres.
S.
S.
Somos.
Somos.
And son.
And
Son.
son. Now I bring this up because we're going to be talking about another verb that is incredibly irregular. Stay with me here. What does that say?
EIR.
It says ew.
That's a verb.
Yes, it's a verb. Now here's why we have to be careful, because we just talked about this. What else is that? It's a type of what?
Verb.
It's a type of ending. So there's a big difference between ir, the ending, and ir, the verb. Huge difference. And this confuses people because I'll throw this on the test and people will think it's this and be like, cool, O-E-S-E-I-M-O-S-E-N, and think that they got it. You're wrong. Completely wrong. All right? Ir is its own verb. Anybody have any idea what ir means?
To go.
To go. So if I want to say that somebody goes somewhere, I'm using ir. Step 1, define it. Here's the problem. What's step 2?
Drop the ending.
Drop the ending. What happens if I drop the ending?
There's no word.
There's nothing there. I'm starting with nothing, which is essentially what happens with this verb. You are basically going to start from scratch. So to say I go, we're going to say voy. Yo voy. To say you go, we're going to say vas. Yeah, you should take note. I'm hoping this is starting to look a little familiar.
AR.
It's kind of like an AR verb, but which AR verb? Which AR verb did we just talk about with an O and a Y?
Oh, a store.
Look, it's kind of like estar,
Stop.
where it was
Estoy.
estoy,
Estás.
estás,
Está.
estás. So take a guess.
Va.
Ella,
And there's no accents on them?
va. No accents. Nosotros, take a guess.
Vamos.
Vamos.
Ivan.
And then ellos, ellas, ustedes,
Van.
van. So you're kind of using the same pattern as an AR estar format. Voy, vas, va, vamos, va. No accents. Okay? No accents. Don't worry about accents. Okay? So when you're talking about going somewhere, this is what we're using. Now, inherently, you can't just say, I go school, we go store, right? You're going to sound like a 3-year-old. Okay? You're going to need something else in between. What do I need in between? To, not just to.
To be, to go.
To the, right? I go to the store. We go to the bank. They go to the mall. Whatever the case may be. Okay? So, there's a couple pieces that have to happen when we do it that way. All right? So, Are we good with this before we move on?
No, it's
Huh?
all, like, it would be he or she.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same as our normal chart. Yep, so this would be yup.
It would be he, she goes.
Yep, you got it. Here she goes. Él, ella, usted. This is our nosotros. It's still our normal chart. Ellos, ellas. Yep, I go, you go, here she goes, we go, they go. Alright, now let's think of it this way. I want to make sure I got enough room on the screen here. Alright, so let's just put it right here. If I want to say something like, I go to the park. We're essentially going to treat these in two pieces. The verb and the location. Okay? So here's what we need to do. We know who's going. Who's going?
I.
I am. How many people am I?
One.
One. Am I him?
Yes.
Yes, done.
Boy.
Boy. Anybody know the word for park?
Okay.
Parque.
P-A-R-Q.
P-A-R-Q-U-E. Now, because we're treating it as two different pieces, it's this to the that's crucial. I have two ways to express to the, and it's based on the gender of the location. How do I tell the gender of any noun?
A or O.
Most of the time it's A or O. Does this have either?
No.
No. If it ends in an A, it's feminine. If it ends in anything else,
It's masculine.
it's masculine. So parque would be what?
Masculine.
Masculine. If my location is masculine, voy al parque. Right? Now, because I'm treating these as two different pieces, do I care who's going to the park in order to choose whether my location is masculine or feminine?
No.
No. If the example says nothing except I go, do I know the gender of I?
No.
No. Because I could say I go to the park, I'm a guy. Right? Leah can say I go to the park, she's a girl. Fact of the matter is the word for park is parque, making it masculine. So your setup is essentially going to be this. It's going to be ir, which is my verb, followed immediately by either al or a la. So take a look.
That makes sense.
Al would be for a location that is
Masculine.
masculine. Allah would be for the location that is feminine. And then I'm going to finish with exactly that. My location. Can I ever change the gender of a location? No. The gender of the location stays because it is a noun. So I don't care who's going for the rest of the sentence. I care who's going for the verb I choose, but I don't care who's going for where I'm going. All right? Make sense so far?
Yeah.
So, real quick, just to kind of make sure we're on the right page here. All right? Sorry, Smith, you're good, kid. All right, so we just said parque.
Yes.
Parque is what?
Park.
Park, and it's what gender? Masculine. Then what if I gave you something like tienda?
What does that mean?
It doesn't matter what it means.
Oh,
Means store, yeah.
It's
Store.
feminine, it means store, but it's feminine because it ends in
An
A. Okay? If I gave you something easy like
Macho.
banco,
Masculine.
masculine because it ends in
Oh.
O. However, every once in a while, there's always a word that doesn't follow the rules. And I'm going to specifically give you this one. What does that say?
Class A.
Class A. What's a class A?
Class.
Class. It looks like it needs to be what?
Masculine.
Masculine. It is not.
It's actually feminine.
It's actually feminine.
And la clase.
So it would be la clase. So if I wanted to say something like, you all go to class or to the class. Who's going? You all. How many people's you all?
More than one.
More than one. Am I part of the group?
No.
No, so it turns into
Some. No.
different verb.
Fine.
Van,
Oh.
clase. Do I need al or Allah? If it's clase. La, because clase is feminine. Do I care if the bond is all guys or all girls or whatever? No. Irrelevant, doesn't matter. Alright? So your basic setup is going to be subject, ir, and location. Right? So when you see examples of this, you're going to see it in that order. So it's going to say something like tu, ir, and I don't know, let's just pick one. Banco. This is what you're going to see in order to do your work. You're going to use this to give me my sentences. Okay? So if we did something like this, how many people is two?
One.
More, it's one. Am I him?
No.
No, am I talking to him? Yes. Vas. Banco.
Masculine.
Masculine, so I need
La.
al or Allah.
La.
Al.
Oh, yeah.
It's either al or Allah. Those are my only two options.
La.
That's two. That's like A, L, A, like there's space.
Yeah.
It's
It's not like one word.
One word,
Wait,
two words. But it's
this.
masculine, feminine. Alright? And this would mean you what?
You
Go
go
to the bank.
You go to the bank. So yeah, these your only two options are either al or Allah. Okay, that's it. Make sense?
Yeah.